Gail's makes the best carrot cake in London. I dare you to tell me otherwise. As I couldn't buy it from Gail's in lockdown, I found a recipe online and made my own. Here it is, and it's easy to do. You don't need a mixer to do this, just some elbow grease and basic kitchen equipment. Measure out 75 grams of self-raising flour. I'm using wholemeal flour, which is slightly better for you. Add a pinch of salt, yes it's black, covered in activated charcoal. It's a long story, any salt will do. Half a teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of baking powder, and half a teaspoon of baking soda. You'll need both, they do different things. Sift these ingredients together if you're using white, refined flour, not wholemeal flour, as you'll be left with this stuff. That is, don't bother sifting if you're using wholemeal flour. Add about 15 grams of ground almonds and one of my favorite ingredients of late, nutmeg. Not surprisingly, carrot cakes have carrots in them, so grate about 2 medium carrots. Gail's put pineapple in their carrot cake, about 40 grams, tinned or fresh. Raisins and sultanas are optional but can compensate for sugar. Add about 20 grams of pecans, toasted in a pan and chopped. I hadn't realized how much sugar goes into sweet things like cakes until not long before this when I made my first cake. You can use slightly less, but it's still a lot. White or brown will do. Add 1 whole egg at room temperature and whisk together until it turns white, or off-white in this case as the sugar is brown. More whisking off screen. I did say this needed effort, and there it is. Now gradually add in 40 ml of sunflower oil, 1/3 at a time, and whisk to incorporate. Yeah, that whisk served its time, but it pays to invest in good equipment. Oh yeah, more whisking. Add some vanilla extract, which will mask any unwanted flavors in the cake. I didn't have any option but to put it back together and continue like a soldier. Now it's time to bring all the ingredients together. Tip the flour and other dry ingredients into the sugar and egg mixture and mix in using a spatula. Add in the grated carrots, pineapple, raisins and pecans, folding the mixture to combine. There was a little too much oil in this. The consistency of the batter is very important. I've fixed the quantities for this video, so you should be okay. I saved it by adding some more ground almonds. Prepare a baking tin with baking paper, more elegantly than this if you can, and pour the batter in. Of course, this needs to go in a preheated oven at 175 degrees Celsius for about 30 minutes. While the cake's baking, we'll make the cream cheese frosting. Add 50 grams of butter to 40 grams of icing sugar. Make sure your butter is at room temperature, or you will be there for days. Press the butter into the icing sugar and then combine using a whisk. When it turns white, you're winning. Now add 125 grams of cream cheese, and again this should be at room temperature so that the two elements combine properly. This isn't funny anymore. Now put the frosting in your fridge to cool. You'll know that your cake is done when you insert a toothpick and it comes out clean. Leave it to cool for a few minutes and then remove it from the tray. Turn over and again let it cool, until it's no longer warm. I began to cut it too soon. Cut the cake in half and get the frosting out of the fridge and leave it aside for about 5 minutes, or you'll find it very difficult to spread. Spread half of the frosting on the first layer, place the second layer over and spread the remaining frosting over the top. Use the back of a butter knife to get a straight surface. Some simple decoration, and remember to keep it in the fridge, if you don't eat it all.